Hey everyone, for this week's pastoral video, wanted to just give us a heads up for those who may not have walked through Holy Week before. Very brief, just a couple minutes of what to look forward to. And we're in the second week of Lent right now, and Lent is the season that leads up to Holy Week, which is the week that we walk in the footsteps of Jesus. So all of the year, the church year is in the church calendar, wraps our time around the life and work of Jesus in sort of big general swaths. But Holy Week, we slow down and day by day walk in the footsteps of Jesus. It begins with Palm Sunday, where in what's called the triumphal entry, when we walk with Jesus into Jerusalem, and we'll be out in the courtyard waving our own palms and recognizing that day the same people who are praising him as Lord would also call for his crucifixion later on as well, and recognizing our own hypocrisy and sin in our own hearts and the grace of Jesus that overcomes that. And then that Thursday we have Maundy Thursday, not Monday Thursday, Maundy Thursday. And Maundy Thursday is when we remember Jesus' institution of communion, or the Eucharist, where he gave us that meal. It's also the night that he washed his disciples' feet. And so we have foot washing as a part of that, which is a very humbling experience, to wash other people's feet, but sometimes perhaps even more so to let other people wash our feet. So it's a very unique service that evening, Maundy Thursday. Good Friday, very sad, dark day when we remember the price that was paid for our redemption in Jesus' crucifixion. We end that service as really the only service of the year where we end that service with a very poignant reminder that Jesus is dead. And then we wake up that Saturday morning, not celebrating Easter, but mourning as Jesus is in the tomb. And we gather that night, that Saturday night, for Easter Vigil. Huge, beautiful service where we retell the story through art and music and dance and readings and poetry and instrumentals and all kinds of things. We retell the story of the scripture and why Jesus had to die and what's coming after that as well. We also do baptisms that night. I know it's late. And that's difficult, but bring your kids, bring them in their pajamas, let them go to sleep. That's fine as well. There'll be snacks there that they can share, but bring them out. You'll leave there profoundly exhausted in so many wonderful ways as we start the evening with Jesus in the tomb, and we end the evening with Jesus' resurrection. Then we have Easter Day, where some people come to Easter Vigil and Easter Day. Some people just come to one. That's okay. Where it's hugely celebratory after our season of Lent and preparation. Hugely celebratory time of the resurrection of Jesus. So that's Holy Week, and it's really meant to be experienced in community, not just by yourself, but in community as a whole, as sort of a whole week of services. It is the holiest week of the year for Christians around the world, and has been for thousands of years. And so look forward to this experience together of Holy Week. And so do my three friends back here as well. They're pretty excited about things too. I'm in Atlanta this week, by the way, for a training. That's why I'm in a place that looks different. We didn't build a new building while you weren't looking. But really excited about Holy Week in our time together. And if you have any questions about that, reach out and how you can experience that deeply together with your family, with your children if you have children, but with your church family as a whole. I would encourage you not to go on vacation during that week. Go on vacation the next week or the next weekend, and be with your church family during Easter, and great time to bring friends also. One last thing we want to point out to you is we've got some really exciting things happening with Connections, and so I'm going to toss this over then to Zach, our curate here at Redeemer, who's going to share with you some specifics about what's happening on Wednesday night.
Hey Redeemer, Zach here, just bringing you some updates on Connections. So just wanted to first say a few of the classes, all the classes that we're offering this next session, and then just a couple reminders about Connections generally. So first, class being offered is Contemplative Lenten Crafts, being taught by Marie Leonard. In this class, you'll be introduced to basic stitching patterns, cross stitch, embroidery stitch. And then the idea is that once you kind of get the hang of it, that you can start to use that as a way to pray, as a way to be contemplative. Next class is for all the saints, being taught by Andrew Edscorn. You'll notice at the back of the Book of Common Prayer, there's a number of prayer collects and then a calendar. All sorts of men and women in the faith, heroes of the faith who have lived exemplary lives and really were zealous for the gospel and serving the Lord. So the class is about going through these saints' lives and seeing how they live for God in their unique time and place, and then what we can learn from them in our own walk with the Lord. Third class is N.T. Wright, The New Testament and the People of God. It's a book called New Testament and the People of God that Luke Logan is going to be walking through. And that class is going to be looking at questions of what was the first few centuries like? What was the environment that Christianity was born in? And how does thinking about that time period, those kind of historical questions, help us better understand the faith in Scripture? Fourth class is When Helping Hurts, taught by J.D. Meter, who's our Fellows Director and Director of Next Generation Ministries. And that class, also book-based, is engaged around questions of, what does it look like to take seriously Jesus' call to help the poor and the powerless, the marginalized, while also not doing it in a way that can bring more harm than good. How to be about the work of missions without it becoming Christian tourism. Some really important questions to wrestle through, especially as a church like Redeemer, having a really wonderful partnership with our sister church in Rwanda. It should be a time of great discussion, really important discussion. And then fifth class is catechumenate. You've been with me for 6 weeks. We've got another 6 weeks to go to finish up this winter-spring session. Children's catechesis also continues on. Just a couple reminders about connections. Start at 6. We go until about 6:45 with a potluck. We have a fun theme each week, and then depending on group breakdown, you either bring an entree, a side, or a dessert. However, I have heard from several folks that getting from work and back to church and also having food, it's a lot, doesn't really work. That's okay. If you would like to opt out of the potluck portion of connections, that is all right. We just ask that you let us know so we don't factor you into the counts. There's a link in each of the group signups for opting out of the potluck. Looking forward to last session of connections here for this winter-spring time, and would hope you all would consider taking a class and joining us.